Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Monique, LaTrice. How are you? Let me see. Hi and welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I am doing wonderful and welcome. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Yes.
Yes, welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone that's joining us. We are so glad that you are here as we talk to the future Dr. Monique LaTrice. I am so excited. I am so excited. So welcome. We have people filing in. Monique, LaTrice, how was it over on Clubhouse? I saw you over there for a minute. I jumped on. That was very
Yeah.
exciting.
It
Very.
was exciting. And that was my first time being on stage at Clubhouse. So
Oh
it was
wow.
cool. Yeah.
Okay. So many firsts tonight, huh?
Right.
Right. So I'm going to welcome everybody and say hello and good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Beyond the Book Media and the Business of Books. Live on Facebook, the Beyond the Book Media's Facebook page. We are here where you will discover new indie authors and gain insight on their journeys of writing and publishing with Beyond the Book Media. If you love discovering emerging authors and are interested in publishing a book or just desire to support, please share this live. And we welcome you all. So we'll give people a moment to just file in and we'll just say welcome to everyone and hello. It is nice to finally see your face and meet you on this side. I've heard so much about you and I'm so excited for your new read. I am so excited. So we'll get started at about 9:05, but we just want to give people time to come from Clubhouse that's coming over and those that's joining us via Facebook for the first time tonight. We want to give them a moment, but we want to
Okay.
say welcome to everybody that's coming in right now. Drop a comment in the bottom and let Monique LaTrice know that you are excited about her new book. Say hello in the comments in the chat. Don't be shy. Come on in and say hello. This is new. We are sitting side by side. This is exciting.
It is.
So exciting. Wonderful. I love Clubhouse, but it's so beautiful to be able to put a face with the book.
Right.
And yeah, yeah, get the personality and all. You get that a little bit over Clubhouse, but these lives are amazing.
Yeah. It's
I'm
so
so excited.
different just being able to see someone when you're talking with them.
Yeah, so engaging and people get the full experience of who you are as an author. That is
Mhm.
the great part about it. So, welcome again to everybody. Hello and good evening. Come on in. Please share this live as we speak with future Dr. Monique LaTrice about her new book. It is going to be a good read. I'm going to suggest everybody go on out and purchase it on Amazon, but we'll get to all of that in a moment. We just want to welcome you here, and we just want to say welcome to the Beyond the Book Media and the Business of Books live on Facebook. Hey, Nikisa, such a support. Here, you'll discover new indie authors and gain insight on their writing and publishing journeys. And if you love discovering emerging authors, or if you are an emerging author, this is where you want to be. If you are looking for publishing, Beyond the Book Media may be a place for you. And so we're going to talk about that journey with Monique LaTrice as a new author and a family member. So we'll get into that in a moment. I'm so excited. But please like and share. Please say hello in the comments. Chat it up with us. We're here to engage you. We'll get to question and answers from the audience soon, but we're going to delve right into engaging Monique LaTrice in a few moments. Welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody. Don't forget to share and say hello. Don't sit in, say hello. Come on in and say hello. Oh, yeah, they are joining. They are loving. Hi, Chanel. Our visionary and the owner of Beyond the Book Media has joined us. Hello, hello, hello. It is 9:05. Hi, Jacinta. Good evening. We're excited to be here. It is 9:05. We'll go ahead and get started as people matriculate over from Clubhouse and join us through this Facebook Live. We'll just let them join in as they come. But welcome to you, Monique LaTrice. It is such an exciting time, and I am honored to be able to interview you tonight about your wonderful book and get some insight about your journey in writing and in publishing with Beyond the Book Media. So, welcome again to all that have joined. I ask that you please share this video or this live as we talk to Dr. Monique. I'll start by giving a little um, what I want to call it, a little backstory about Monique LaTrice, the new Beyond the Book Media publisher and the author. Monique LaTrice. She is a writer and higher education professional who works with adult learners at an online university. She earned her Bachelor's of Art in English Literature and Master's of Art in Communication and is working towards her doctorate. So soon to be future Dr. Monique LaTrice. Add a little more to the topic of who you are, share with all that are here joining with us, and tell us about yourself.
Well, in addition to what you shared, I'm also a mom. I'm also an ordained minister. I'm also an avid reader. I enjoy indoor cycling, running, and traveling. And I also do a few missions with a church that I attend. So I'm just, out here putting myself out there doing all kinds of things.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. A woman of many talents and hats. And so we understand
Right.
that as well as a doctoral student, as I understand
On
it.
top of
So
everything else.
don't, don't forget about that. That is something within itself. I'm so excited for you. I can imagine how determined and dedicated, and you have to be on point with everything. And to write a book in the midst, we're going to talk about this book, Late Discovery: A Half Adoptee's Journey to Becoming Whole. Tell us about your book.
Yes, so this book is my story of learning at the age of 35 that I am adopted. And it was my stepfather who adopted me. And when I say half adoptee, that's someone who is raised by a biological parent with a step parent as well.
Okay, okay. So if you don't mind, just elaborate a little bit more about that discovery. Talk to us about the emotion of that at the age of 35 to find that out. What are some things that you had to go through, or you felt like did you feel like you had an identity crisis at that moment, or were you like, okay, with the statement or the discovery? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I definitely went through an identity crisis.
Okay.
It was very shocking to learn this because I would have never known had this not been revealed. And so my stepfather, he had been keeping the secret for 35 years. He and my mother had agreed that they would never tell me, but he decided that he wanted me to know and he could no longer keep the secret. So he called me up one day, said he needed to talk to me, and that's when he revealed that he was not my real father. So, yeah, I went through a lot of shock. Then there was a phase where I was kind of questioning, okay,
Mhm.
if you're not my father, who is my father? Who am I? Where do I fit in with this family who I thought was, my real family this whole time. And you kind of start to, when you find out something like this, you really start to question a lot of things.
Mhm.
And then there's an issue of trust that comes up because it's your parents who have kept this secret from you for most of your life. And then there's also dynamics of being an adult and getting to know a whole new family who you've missed out on, years of getting to know. And when I met my birth father, I
Okay.
had to, yeah, I did meet my birth father eventually, and I had to go through a phase of getting to know him, getting to know this side of the family, finding out that I had more siblings, and, just kind of wondering, do I fit in? Will they accept me? Will they like me? Do I even belong here? A lot of those kinds of questions and emotions came up for me.
Okay. So for those that plan to purchase your book, what are three top takeaways you wish they would walk away with after reading the story of your journey as a half adoptee? What are the things, what are three things that you would like for them to take away?
Yeah, I would definitely say that if you're feeling like there's a part of you that's missing, or if you find out that there's some information about your life that's been withheld from you, it's never too late to discover any information that was withheld or any pieces of your life that have been missing. Um,
Mhm.
Although family secrets can be detrimental, it is possible for forgiveness to happen. It will take some time and it is hard, but you can heal and you can grow and you can forgive. And also, this story is common. It's not, unique to me. But although the story is common, everybody's story is different and it matters. So if you feel like you want to share your story, please do, because I went through a phase where I didn't want to share my story because I felt like, I'm not the only one going through this, so who really cares? So if you feel like you want to share your story, go ahead and do it anyway, regardless if someone else has a similar, I won't say same, but similar story.
And I would wholeheartedly agree with you because all of our stories, although there may be some similarities, there are so many things that are different. Even the process of overcoming or walking through the journey is different for all of us because our strengths and weaknesses are different, our environments are different, our cultures and beliefs are different. So the journey is different. So, from your perspective, on what you share can help the people that are assigned to your book. So, I totally agree with you that. Um, Something that I tell myself often is that the journey that you've gone through, just talking about you yourself, and even journeys that those that are with us live tonight have gone through, all of the journeys are never for us. It was always the journey that we had to endure, but it was for somebody else. I am a firm believer in that, that it is never about us. Although we feel the brunt of it, we go through it, at the end, once we come out of it, it is for us to tell the story so that somebody else can understand that they are not alone. Can you tell me whether or not at that moment of discovery, if you felt like I must be the only one that has ever gone through this? Were you ever in a place where you thought, I can't tell nobody this because nobody will understand, it's only me?
Absolutely. And although I knew I wasn't alone in this and I had heard other stories similar to mine, I still felt alone
Okay.
because it was happening to me. And I didn't have anyone personal that I could talk to about this who could relate. And so, like, my best friend is my sister. And she, although she was very supportive and sympathetic to my situation, she doesn't understand because dad is her real dad. And, she has both parents. Whereas I, although I thought I had both parents, come to find out I only had my mother. And, even though my stepfather has been, super supportive with him revealing this information to me and helping me during my healing process and reassuring me that I'm still his daughter no matter what, is still different knowing that you did keep a secret from me and that even though you're my dad, you're kind of not, you know what I mean?
Right. And so, how do you help us to understand in this journey of writing, which I would assume was therapeutic in some form? How do you right and get to the place of forgiveness, or is that a place where you still are working towards with individuals in your life, or have you totally forgiven and now you can move on? Where are you in that part of the journey?
So, I with my stepfather, I've I'm at a place of total forgiveness with him, and I think with him it was easier for me to forgive because he was the one who actually came to me and told me the truth. And
Okay.
so, with my mother, we're still in a little bit of a awkward phase, and we're still going through a process of forgiveness. And for me, it's been a little harder to forgive her because she didn't want me to ever know who my birth father is. And she intentionally wanted this kept a secret for my whole life. And I just, by writing, I was able to help myself heal
Mhm.
by putting my words down on paper and being able to see it and read it. And it kind of helped me also to understand my mother's point of view.
Okay.
And I kind of tried to put myself in her shoes, and, just ask myself, if I was a teen mom, what would I have done at that time? And that was kind of helpful for me to kind of just think of it from her point of view and not just hold on to the anger and hurt that I had because she kept a secret from me.
Understood. Oh, I'm so proud of you. It is a journey, but it's one that you can get through. Tell me, who is your book for? Who would you
Um,
say it for?
Yeah, there's a community of LDAs, we call ourselves late discovery adoptees. And those are people who find out in adulthood that they are adopted. And it's a group that I am a part of. So it would be for those in that community, as well as anyone who might be dealing with paternal discrepancy, where the man, or it could be maternal discrepancy as well, a parent whom you thought was your biological parent, you find out is not. And just anyone who might be dealing with any type of family secrets.
And as you know, as a 30-something-year-old woman, and myself being in my 40s, that has been taboo a lot of the time in our community, where certain things such as when our parents were young and got pregnant out of wedlock and it was a secret, it was taboo, don't tell anybody, go away, have the baby come back. And so it is honorable that you are in a place where you are trying to see the perspective from your mom's point of view. And whereas maybe in her mind she thought she was protecting you, to find out later it was probably something that you would have wanted to know beforehand. But the place of walking through the journey, and I hope that as I plan to purchase your book, so I hope that as we read and turn the pages, that we will see the transformation of healing and how that helps in the journey of discovery of whatever kind, as you said, whatever the secret may be. Because
Right.
what a secret does is it comes out sooner or later. And I'm glad to see that it hasn't thwarted your journey into becoming the woman that you're supposed to be, being the mother that you are. But now you have something else in your arsenal that you can say, I overcame, and that I worked through. And because of that, I am better today. And so I've often heard, I think Chanel say, and I know other authors say, that writing a book or a manual or what have you, it's supposed to be transformative for the person that reads it. They're supposed to get something, change in some way, have a light come on, if you will, for lack of a better phrase. Will we find that in your book? Will we find where there are parts of it where you give pointers on how to walk through the journey of forgiveness, and how writing even helped you to do that?
Yeah, I definitely think you will find, you'll see those moments where I was able to forgive and the turning points that helped me to forgive. And you'll also see how writing it helps you to be able to put to words everything that you've been holding in your mind all this time.
Mhm.
And that was me for so long because I'm such a quiet and reserved person and I don't talk very much. I was holding a lot of stuff, and all of the ideas and thoughts and questions I have been holding in my head were never answered. And I didn't really have anyone that I could talk to about it because I was embarrassed or I thought nobody would really care what I was talking about. So being able to put everything down on paper and then to read it back to myself was very helpful in my healing and for me to just I mean, I think it's therapeutic for anybody. If you're holding stuff in your head to get it out, and writing was my way of doing so.
Okay. Okay. And I have another question. So, what inspired you to write this book? And it's a two-part question. What inspired you to write the book, and why now?
Honestly, I did not want to write this book. I I just felt like the story was so common that, who's going to read this and who would really care. And so what I really my intention was to write it for myself just to get it out. And
Right.
then what I started to see was that sometimes when you're writing a story, even though you think it's something so minuscule or unimportant, it could be helpful to someone else.
Yeah.
And so I had, some family and some friends who were like, you should really write about this. And I kept saying no. I said no for several years. I don't want to write about this. It's okay. I'm over it. But what I was realizing is that I really wasn't over it because the idea of this book kept coming up again and again and again until I couldn't say no anymore. I had to write it. And so my hope is that by me coming forward to tell my story, I will inspire others who are on a similar journey or are going through the same thing to be able to come forward and tell their stories too, in the hopes that we can keep sharing and keep helping others.
Oh wow, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. And so, why now versus? And I didn't even ask this question. When did you find out? How long ago was it when you found out that you said at 35? So, was that some years ago, or was that recent, or how? When was that?
No, it's been a few years.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not brand new, but I think when I first found out, I wasn't ready to write.
Right. Okay.
And I needed some time to process and figure out what had happened and kind of work through my forgiveness before I was able to verbalize it in a way that someone else could read it and understand what had happened.
Oh wow, because that's something else. When I first started with the Write With Me challenge back in 2019, that was something I remember. I don't know if it was Jasmine, Nakisa, or Chanel, but they would say in the process of writing, and one reason why they talked about always partnering with Holy Spirit before you write is because we want to bless and not bleed. And so we don't want our hurts to become somebody else's hurt where they take on our story and then they become angrier instead
Mhm.
of us blessing them by our story and the victory of coming through and being triumphant in the midst of and in the process of coming out. And so that's a very good point, that we want to make sure that when we write it, we're in a place of peace with or some type of resolve, or at least working towards a resolve where when we complete the book or the manual or whatever it is God gives us to write and share, that we do help people to transform and see things from a different perspective and look at life from a different lens of, if this person came through this journey, so too can I, versus the amen corner with yes, that's right, and this the same way I feel, and then they get in the place where they're stuck. We don't want to people to become stuck from our testimonies and stories. We want them to find freedom and purpose in life from our stories. Would you agree with that?
Oh yes, absolutely. And that is the main purpose of me writing, is to be of some type of help or support to someone else. Even just if they read my story and know they're not alone, they're not the only one that's going through this, that would be just that's a blessing in itself.
All right, I totally agree with that. So tell me, about the publishing journey. I know you published with Beyond the Book Media. How was that process? Because you know there was just a cohort that finished, and that was a lot of the questions that came up. How long was the process? What was the feedback? How did you internalize it? How do you change things? And that perspective. Give us a little bit of insight about the journey through the publishing process.
So the journey through the publishing process for me, it was great. It was seamless, and I would say the staff is very supportive. They are awesome. If you follow the outline and the timeline that is set out for you, you
Mhm.
will go through the process with no problems at all. And they will make sure that at the end of the publishing journey, you have a book that you are proud of and one that you are happy that you published through Beyond the Book Media, because they will hold your hand every step of the way to make sure that you are happy with your book, and that we want you to have a product that you're proud of and that will sell, and that you know you maybe come back and publish another book through them. So
Mhm.
I have nothing but high praise for the publishing process with Beyond the Book Media. It was awesome.
Great, awesome, great to hear that, and we thank you for that. Tell me one other thing. How long was the process from turning in your manuscript to getting the final go ahead? Let's print, let's publish. We're finished. Here we go. How long was your journey? And I know everybody's will be different
Mhm.
because people will have some things to change, and it's depending on how soon you give your information back and if you follow the steps in the plan as you just stated. But how long was your process?
It was a little under a year,
Okay.
from writing in the boot camp all the way to being finished, complete, and published, a little under a year. And that's, following that timeline that they give you for the publishing process is very helpful, because you're able to see each step of the process and check it off as you go along.
Oh wow. Wow, that is good to know because so many people may be in the process of, yeah, I want to write this book and I want to follow in the steps of the future Dr. Monique LaTrice, but I'm people have their own timelines in their mind, and then everything is quick, microwavable. Everybody can help you get it done soon, fast, quick, and in a hurry. And we want everything to just be on a timer, 2 minutes, hit two, and it's done. And so it's great to know that there is a process even after the journey of writing. We want the authors and those scribes to know that there is still a process after the process. After you release it, there is still a process. And so we'll see if there's anybody in the audience that has a question. Now is the time to ask any questions you have of Monique LaTrice about her journey, about the book, and about publishing with Beyond the Book Media. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and she will definitely do her best to answer them. We'll say hello again and welcome to those that are joining now. This is Monique LaTrice, and we are speaking with her. She is a new author, and she said mother and future doctorate. I mean, doctor. I'm sorry. She's in a doctoral program. She's a future doctor, and we are talking to her about how a half adoptee became whole. That title in itself is so intriguing. When I read it, I was like, a half adoptee. I was trying to figure out what that meant. I was like, a half adoptee. Okay. And but the part that stood out was becoming whole. And I know that I believe that your book, even though it's catered towards those, as you stated, that are LDAs or those that are coming from under family secrets, or finding them out and navigating through that, whatever it is. I think that your book, becoming whole in itself, is what many people after pandemic will be trying to do. So in addition to writing a book and talking about becoming whole as a half adoptee, are there any other nuggets of how you have become whole in other parts of life, just as a mother, as a writer, as a student, because those individuals will be reading, or following us on Beyond the Book Media, right with me, and all of that. Are there any other nuggets or tidbits you can give those individuals on how to work towards becoming whole if they feel there's a gap?
Yeah, I would just say, if you feel something is missing, search. Don't give up.
Mm,
Ask plenty of questions. And if you're someone like me who couldn't get questions answered, because I
mhm.
come from a family where we don't talk about things, you find something out and you deal with it, and it's swept under the rug, and they act like nothing ever happened. But I am very inquisitive and I like to ask questions and dig around and figure things out. So I would say keep digging, keep searching, and you will find the answers that you need.
And so until we get a question, I'll just ask a couple of other questions. Tell me, what did you do in your quiet time, when people would not answer the questions that you needed, or they felt like, hey, just leave it alone, as most do in our families? How did you dig in deep regardless, because you were determined to find out who Monique LaTrice really was, and that other part of you? How did you dig in and say, hey, I have to get to the bottom of this, because I truly have to be whole again? Because at one point you thought you were whole.
Right.
So I need to find this missing piece so that I can be whole again. What are some things that you did to do that?
The biggest thing I did was journaling, and that helped a lot, especially for someone like me who's not so talkative. Writing everything down, and that's kind of how I do most of my prayers. I write them out in journal format. So my prayer journal was very helpful. Just asking all of the questions there to God that I wasn't getting answered from my mom and dad, and just, leaving it there in prayer. And then, just kind of waiting, listening, meditating, and just kind of letting um, God lead me to where I needed to be to figure things out.
Oh, that's awesome. Those are some good nuggets there, because what I love about Beyond the Book Media, the right with me experience, the challenge down to the boot camp, is that it is Holy Spirit led. And so connecting with Holy Spirit, I earnestly believe that when God gave you the notion to write the book and said, hey, it's time for healing, and it's time for you to walk somebody else through the healing process, he knew that there would be individuals that wouldn't want to share for their own reasons, and we don't hold them accountable because they have their own reasons why they couldn't share or didn't want to. But he knew that there was something that you needed, and because you partner with Holy Spirit, God was able to pour into you and give you everything you needed for successful healing and writing, so that you can in turn touch somebody else's life, whether near or far. And what I love about a book such as this is that it transcends countries and races and genders and everything. And because our stories are not unique to ourselves, and somebody wants to hear, even those that say what I heard you say earlier, that hey, I'm okay, I'm good, we say that, but inside, internally, we are broken sometimes, and the healing process is the journaling. And so that is a good tidbit. But I love that about Beyond the Book Media, is that it is led by the Spirit. And so when you can get under the umbrella of the anointing that is carried by Chanel and the others of the team, it is a beautiful thing to be on a journey where people know God for themselves. And if you are missing a link or broken in any way, connecting with them on the journey of the counseling and the coaching,
Mhm.
separate and individual, where Nikisa and Jasmine really pour into the writers. I've heard so many people during the challenges and the boot camp say that those are some things that really catapulted them and allowed them to release. Would you say that that was a part of the journey for you too, helping you to release, just having that anointing and knowing that you are truly covered by people that walked hand in hand with God and believed in your story just as much as you?
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely a big support for me, and it made me feel less alone.
Oh, good. Great, 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 great. I want to know, do we have any questions from the audience? Anybody in the audience have one question for Miss Monique LaTrice? And don't forget to share this video if you're watching us live. Please share. If you are watching this, I think it may be via replay. Say hashtag replay afterwards. How are you able to? Oh, okay. Jacinta has a question. How were you able to balance working on your book while working in other capacities as well? Awesome. That's a great question.
It was definitely hard because I had to juggle between work and doctoral studies, writing my book, and then all the other activities that I do. So I would say, if it's something that you want to do, you definitely have to make time and stick to a schedule and carve out that time to write it, because otherwise you'll get lost in all of the other things that you need to do. So having a schedule is very important, and sticking to it even more so.
Oh wow. Yes. I can imagine, like I said, wearing many hats and trying and doing the many tasks. But we thank God for the grace to carry all of that and
Yes.
balance it. Balance it. It is truly a grace. One that I know Chanel carries. I'm working on it. So I'll take note there and say calendar, and make it and stick to it, Crystal. I'm going to get that part together. That is it. What kept you motivated to stay the course and finish your book?
Um, the fact that I started it in the first place, because when I start things, that kind of pushes me to finish, because I feel like once I start something, I have to finish. And so want to, I don't like to be a person who starts something and then gives up and leaves it and doesn't finish it, because I've done that so many times before in the past, in my younger years. And so now I'm at a place where when I decide to do something, I want to finish it and carry it out to the end. So that was my biggest motivation, was just starting it in the first place.
Oh wow. See, that's it. Getting started is half the battle. Once you get
Right.
started, the discipline to finish is the reward. And so oh, awesome questions, Jacinta. Great questions. Great questions. Anyone else have questions for Monique Latrice? She has shared a lot with us about her book, how a half adoptee became whole. That I just cannot wait. I'm not a Kindle type person. I like to hold books in my hand.
I'm the same
I
way.
know I know that's funny to most people because everybody's used to the technology, but I am so one that loves to hold the book. I'm one of those with my Bible app. I do have it on my phone because when I wake up in the morning, I will grab that because it's convenient. But I still, throughout the day, like to hold my Bible in my hand and read my Bible. And so I will purchase the book, but I will purchase the book because I like to go back. And then I'm a highlighter. I love to highlight things. And when there's a nugget that I know I can implement and apply to my own writing journey or life in general, I like to highlight and make notes. So that's why I like a book. I'm quite sure you can do it on Kindle some kind of way, but just not.
It's not the same.
Yeah, you like to flip through. I don't know. I love the
Right.
pages. I just like all of that. Well, are there any more questions for Monique Latrice? We are so honored to have you. I'm so excited about your new book. I'm glad that you finished it. I believe that it's going to bless so many people who are seeking wholeness of some kind, whether it is based on being a half adoptee or whole adoptee, because there are people who have both parents that adopted them, and that is a shock to find out sometimes, even in itself, because I have a cousin that is adopted into our family. And once they were told, they felt like they were given away or didn't, nobody wanted them. and then walking through that journey with them as an adult, because I think Will was about 26 when he found out. So
Mm.
yeah, I totally get it. My family has been a family that has been fostering and adopting children as early as, I believe, when I was 8 years old, and they still do that to this day. And it has gone from my older generation to younger people now. My family adopting and fostering. It is just something that's a part of our legacy, and so that is a beautiful thing. But it's beautiful to know and hear that your adopted father still is a part of your life, still supports who you are, and that you have found the means to be connected to your birth father and his family, and there's so many things to discover in knowing who you are and finding your birth parents. And so I just applaud you for the journey. I applaud you for not being covered in shame, but releasing shame and coming from under that and saying, hey, I'm going to tell the story and I'm going to tell it my way. And my goal here is to help somebody else through this journey. You said is a community of LDAs. I would have never known that. But it's wonderful to hear that you have a community of people that understand the journey from your perspective, and because they've walked it and lived it. Is there anything else you want to share with us? How can people find you on social media? And how can they order your book?
Yes, so you can find me on Facebook. My Facebook is Monique LaTrice. I'm on Instagram at Dr. Latrice. I'm speaking that doctor into existence.
All
Um,
things that are not as though they were. That is the scripture. It's in
okay,
the book. Until it becomes, because you're working
right.
on it, right? Right.
And my book is available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback.
All right. That is beautiful. Hold that book up again. I didn't have a
Yes, of
copy of that.
course.
That is absolutely beautiful. When I tell you, Beyond the Book Media, they slay some book
Yes,
covers.
they did this.
I tell you. And the tree, just thinking of life, and
Mhm.
I just went a whole lot of other places with that tree, but that is definitely a beautiful, beautiful book. And I'm sure the story within the pages is just as beautiful. I thank you so much for sharing your journey. Thank you for coming here with me and on this live and share with so many others that are future authors, and those that just finished and completed their manuscripts, and giving people um, nuggets to take with them on the journey of life of discovering who they are, whether it is an adoptee or coming from under other traumas and discoveries. And so I thank you again, Monique LaTrice. I cannot wait to order and read and share with you my thoughts and the things that I learned through your journey. Thank you for becoming whole and helping us to walk the journey to wholeness. Congratulations again on the new book. I know that it'll be a bestseller because that's what Beyond the Book Media does. I just claim it for you, Dr. Monique Latrice.
Thank
You
you
have
so much,
are
and
there
thank
any other
you.
questions before we close out? Linda Brandon, let's see how I add this. Oh, okay. Jacinta dropped your link.
Oh, thank
Okay, then.
you.
She dropped your link, and Linda Brandon said, congratulations.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate everyone who's watching. Thank you, Crystal, and thank you, Beyond the Book Media, for having me.
And order your copy. The link is here. Go ahead, order your copy of How a Half Adoptee Became Whole. Find and discover yourself through her journey, through Dr. Monique Latrice's journey of becoming whole and no longer half, and discovering that even when we think we're just half of something, God makes us whole through our journey with Him. It has been my pleasure. God continue to bless you and continue to shine His face upon you. Have a wonderful evening. Good
Thank you
night,
so
everyone.
much. Good night.